Yes, I believe it is.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you very much. This is Commissioner Michael Paravani. I'm chair of the legislative subcommittee, and I would like to call the meeting to order at 1:36 p.m. on February 9th, 2022. Could we see the agenda on the meeting?
So we do have.
Okay, great.
Okay. Yes.
And Stephanie, are you the one that's going to do the housekeeping?
No, Commissioner Parvania, I will do the housekeeping.
Okay,
This is Teresa.
Hi, Teresa. Could you do the housekeeping and then we'll do the attendance?
Sure. This committee meeting will be on Zoom and via teleconference only. There is no physical location being made available to the public. In accordance with Assembly Bill 361, extending the Bagley-King flexibility through March 31st, 2022, teleconferencing restrictions are waived during the COVID-19 pandemic. Therefore, commission and committee members are not required to list their remote locations, and members of the public may participate either by Zoom or teleconference from any location. This meeting is being captioned. The live captioning link has been included in the chat for your use. This meeting is also being recorded. To assist in this effort, please state your first and last name each time you speak and speak loud and clear. Public participants can use their raise hand function to alert the committee of when they would like to speak. And we will also give an opportunity for public members who have called in to the meeting, at which time they can unmute themselves. If you're attending this meeting via teleconference, please press *6 on your keypad to unmute or mute yourself. If you would like to alert CCDA, please press *9 telephonically. Press *9 to telephonically raise your hand and staff will call on you. Please remember to mute yourself if you are not speaking in order to reduce noise. If you're having technical issues throughout the meeting and need assistance, please use the chat function to alert CCDA staff or email ccda@dgs.ca.gov.
Thank you. And would you take the roll, please?
Sure. Chair Commissioner Paravania.
Present.
Commissioner Jacqueline Jackson.
Present.
Chair Commissioner Parvania, Commissioner Lillibridge has contacted us and notified us that he will not be able to attend the meeting. And Commissioner Allen has resigned from the board. So we do not have quorum.
Okay, so we will make this an informational meeting only, which means that the item number 2, the approval of minutes from September 8th, will be tabled until the next time we meet. And so that takes us to comments from the public on issues not on the agenda. And I would ask the public who are commenting to keep your comments to 2 minutes, please. Is there anyone who wants to address us?
Commissioner Paravania, this is Angela. I would like to, before you move to allow for some comments, and I do see one hand up, that we acknowledge any of our legislative support staff. I believe we do have 1 or 2 in the attendance today.
Hey, let's meet and greet those folks first. Can the people that are representing legislative members identify themselves and say who they're with, please?
Hi, this is Nina Krischel with Senator Jones's office. Just wanted to give you guys a heads up that I will have to hop off at 2 p.m. We're just in the heat of the legislative session.
Thank you for being here while you can. Anyone else? Giving people a while to unmute. Is there anyone else, Angela?
Commissioner Paravania, I do not believe you have any additional unless there's any public members who like to just self-identify at this time.
Charlene Ornelas.
Joseph Mitchell as a member of the public.
I'm a member of the public.
The first name, I heard Joseph Mitchell. Could the other name, just to assist us with our records, if you could say your name once more, maybe a little bit slower for us?
Charlene Ornelas.
Darlene or Layla, or
Yeah, the last name is spelled O-R-N as in Nancy, E-L-A-S like in Sam. And Charlene is spelled S-H-A-R-L-E-N-E.
thank you so much, Charlene.
Thank you. And there was one other person?
And Joseph Mitchell, who actually would like to participate in the public comment section as well.
Okay, Mr. Mitchell, why don't you take the floor?
Well, thank you guys very much. And Mr. Pravanya, I do have a suggestion from the last time we spoke about how to reach out for those, the prompting or putting that out there for the, what did you call it? The requisite where plaintiffs' attorneys and firms have to report. Through that, I have a good suggestion for you at the end of this. So
Okay.
I'll get the 2 minutes in here and then we'll go from there. So thank you guys. My whole deal was just where different Senate bills, and I know you guys have a list of the other ones that are on here, but where was the progress on Senate Bill 430 that came from Senator Borges, and how is that tied to I don't know, disability litigation or civil penalties or the statutory requirements that were coming out? And then secondarily, is there going to be any update to, say, the Cal Civil Code sections 5556, provisions under subsection G, which are like the 30-day, 60-day, and 100-day requirements, 120-day requirements? And are we going to update those for COVID?
Okay. Maybe we can refer those questions to Karina Roy, who will be doing our legislative report.
Okay.
Hi, Commissioner. This is Karina Roy. Yeah, so SB 430 died last year. It's not going forward at all. There's no movement on that. And then so far, there hasn't been any bills introduced to amend those civil code sections. We still have a while until the deadline for new bill introductions, but as of right now, I'm unaware of any new bills affecting those sections.
Thank you.
Okay. Would there be any push for that regarding, I don't know, just realistic time constraints on the courts and small businesses right now? Is that unheard of?
That if there is push, it would be directly to the legislators.
Okay.
Usually, but we would not necessarily know about it over on the administration side until those bills are coming out, or if a legislator asked for some information on the CAS program.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. And then you had a suggestion for us?
Yes, you were looking at how to get those out there, and we referenced social media campaigns or so the last time. I would say if you involved the direct local bar associations with that requirement and asked them to propagate that out there, I think that would be a more effective strategy.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Any other persons wishing to address us today from the public?
Charlene Ornelas.
Take it away.
I just wanted to let you know, I tried to join by the link that was in the email that was sent to me, and I consistently got an error message for the link, and I've had to dial in on the phone. I'm not sure if I'm raising my hand or not. I think it is *9. Is that correct to raise your hand?
Yes, that is correct, Ms. Ornelas.
Okay, because all it is doing is telling me how many people are on the call that are not on, that are just attending. They're not on the panel. Thank you.
Yeah, I had some technical difficulties too, and I have no idea what they were, but thankfully we're all together now. I hope everybody that wants in is in. Any other public comments?
Commissioner
Hearing-
Paravania, this
Yeah.
is Angela. I will just say, due to that comment that we may not be able to identify those on the phone, and there's about 4 or 5 of them that are on the phone today, Commissioner Paravania, that we just go a little slower in our acknowledgement, so we allow for people to be able to unmute themselves and to raise their hand in different way. And then staff, we will be working on these this function to make sure it's working appropriately, because only by these kind of comments will we'll know that they're not working as we thought, as we were instructed by the Zoom technical support desk, that's how it works. So thank you for the comment.
Yeah, that makes sense. So one more time, are there other comments out there that need to be expressed or wish to be expressed? Hearing none, I think we go on to the next agenda item. And that is,
And that is in regards to Administrative Order 17.
yes.
Yes. Okay.
You want to speak to this one, Angela?
Yes, so this is more of a preliminary update for this legislative committee to know that that it is in a draft form that is being routed as we speak through the deputy directors and the executive office for Department of General Services. And just to summarize some of the points of opportunity from this particular administrative order that occurred in November of 2017 that we are highlighting and addressing for consideration for the executive and the programs impacted. One specific area was regarding the section that is called legislative members on boards and commissions. So the legislative order, the legislative communication policy is really trying to help the programs within DGS to understand its function and roles and how they operate with the legislation. And in the particular area that we were wanting to identify specific concerns were the legislative members on boards and commissions, since we are of such that in the area that says this policy does not apply to, it says it doesn't, currently it says it does not apply to discussions with legislators serving on the state allocation board by board staff about board business. It also says discussions with legislators serving on the California Commission on the Disability Access by commissions staff about commission business. And it does mention, however, discussions about current proposed or potential legislation shall be referred to the Office of Legislative Affairs. So that section we had identified as an opportunity for some language change. And then lastly, which is a really critical part for us, is the request for outreach events. It currently reads, the Division of State Architect and Procurement Division may work directly with legislators' offices regarding routine requests for outreach staff to make presentations at events organized or sponsored by the legislator. And that one, again, is also, as I mentioned, really important to us because of the fact that we are regularly putting on outreach events, and specifically, we may engage a legislative office in those outreach events, as well as the fact that legislative offices contact CCDA to participate in outreach events. And so we wanted to make sure those languages are clear and that we're not in conflict with this language as we operate according to our mandates, as well as our understanding of our direction by legislative requirements. So that, as I mentioned, is en route. It is currently with the Legislative Office of Affairs for signature. From there, it goes to the executive offices within DGS. So hopefully by the end of this month, we should have it signed and we can publicly share with everyone exactly the final documentation.
Any comments from commission members on this project? Any comments from the public? I would like to express my appreciation to DGS for working with us on this. This revision is of utmost importance to us so that we can do the job that we believe we were appointed to do. And I think there's been some real receptiveness to our issues and concerns, and I express my thanks. Next agenda item.
Agenda item 5, CCDA one-page informational to the legislature, which is kind of, again, in line to this whole intro that we have felt a need to make sure that the legislature is aware of the work that we produce and how we can be an assistance to them. So this document has already gone through the process of being approved by the board in the format and this committee and the language that it states. And so for this agenda discussion, we thought it would be important. I'm glad Senator Jones's office Nina is on the call. We would love to have her weigh in with ideas and thoughts, but we wanted to represent some conversation on what would best be a way we can discuss this document, how we can distribute this document, or what maybe could be surrounding it, maybe discussion points in general. So we would like to just engage you. This is kind of a partnership with our E&O committee, but at the same time, we would like to share with them our recommendations from this committee of how we think based on our relationships and conversations with our legislative partners.
I'm sorry, you're asking how to best distribute this information to other legislators, or?
So,
Yeah, go ahead.
We were first thinking to just, because one of the things that we, a couple of years ago, one of our commissioner, legislative assembly persons, they were gracious enough and hosted a meeting at the Capitol and to introduce CCDA, because so many folks in terms of in the Capitol have never even heard of us, and not knowing as they're trying to make bills and make decisions, they're not even aware of the resource of our subject matter experts or how it even impacts us as we are going through. And that's one of the things. Sometimes they make decisions and didn't think about to even ask how this impacts us because they're not aware of what we do and who we are. And so staff created what we called a one-pager to just kind of help profile us. And this document that we have on screen reflects just a little bit of who we are. It's driven to just talk about what materials we have available and the subject matter experts that's on our board that they can rely on. And so we wanted to start with that by as a showcase of who we are. And so we started this idea. This was kind of before pandemic, and it's kind of evolved in our mind of how we to operate. And so for those of you who are in legislative office, are you all like at home working? And if that's the case, what would be ideal for you to receive this kind of document, and what format that would help you just off the cuff if you were to say, from your standpoint, to receive this information?
I can chime in. So I'm in the office today. A lot of the days I do work from home. We're kind of in a high-risk situation. We were just given the go-ahead to increase our staffing from 1 staff member to 3 staff members in the office at a time. But it seems to be an evolving situation. There aren't many people coming in person into the building or our new building. It seems like most of this stuff is being sent around electronically on email. Have received similar outreach, just saying, hey, here's who we are. We're happy to provide, any kind of insight, that type of thing. I have received a couple of those. And I think they've mostly just come from organizations, and they're sent to all the ledge staff or ledge directors. And then in the body of the email, kind of just a really brief summary. And because as much as we want people to open every attachment, sometimes they don't. So just a little summary in the body of the email explaining kind of what, even just copy and pasting what's on the actual attachment into the email is also a good strategy. And sending it all to ledge staff is great. Also reaching out to the committees that work kind of in this issue area. I believe human services probably most overlaps, but there might be a few others kind of depending on what the bill is, of course, but maybe just starting with human services would be a good place, and just making them aware and letting them know that they can also share with their members on that committee and those members' staff that you guys are available.
When we had that meeting pre-pandemic at the Capitol, one of the things that I was struck by is that a lot of people who participated didn't know who we were or what we did. And we are a bridge between the disability community and the business community where there's a lot of contention at times. And I think a lot of staffers were sort of pleased and surprised to say, oh, well, we might be able to have some informal discussions with you so we understand the ramifications of certain things that we're thinking about in terms of each of those camps, the disability camp and the business camp, and find ways of putting things together that are acceptable to all sides. We don't oppose legislation or we don't support legislation. We just kind of talk about what's likely to be a reaction or an impact of proposals.
Yeah,
And so to get that information out is so important to us.
Yeah, so in addition to kind of the initial outreach, I'm new to staffing this commission, so I'm not exactly sure your previous operations have gone, but I see that you guys do track some bills. I don't know if you actually do engage with those offices, but even just sending them a quick email like, we're not weighing in with the position, but we're here to offer our insight. We have some thoughts on the bill, and we think we could be of some assistance. I think that would also be a really great way. And if you're looking for just kind of more general awareness, a lot of organizations have gone to social media and tagged members in all of their stuff and things like that. I do work on Senator Jones's social media, so I monitor a lot of that stuff going on.
Yeah, and then we've also historically been a support to members if they're having an event in their district and they want someone to talk about what we do, we can do it. So just so people know that, that's important. So,
I do have to run, but thank you guys.
thank you.
Fortunately, I have a last minute 2 p.m. meeting I have to jump on, but
We understand completely.
yeah.
Just appreciate you being here for while you can.
Yeah, looking forward to working with you guys more and for the next meeting. And please feel free to reach out at any time if you wanted to just chat more about some of these ideas.
Okay, thank you very much.
So thank you. Have a good day.
Okay, take care.
Bye.
Bye. Any one else have comments regarding this agenda item?
This is Commissioner Jackson, and I would like to, if it's possible, to receive 3 hard copies of the documentation. I know I'm sure it's in my email, but I would like to personally take it to my assembly member and my senator that lives here and that I know, so I could just, it'll be a conversational document to let them know that we are here and we're here in support. There was a town hall meeting done yesterday in our city, and the assembly member that was narrating it, they were talking about voting rights and things of that nature, and they covered all groups with the exceptions of persons with disabilities. So as an outreach, and there are things that are going on with there's a voter accessibility advisory committee, but they mentioned the registrar of voters, but they didn't mention people with disabilities. So I'm going to go speak with the person, and I just wanted to have that documentation if possible as part of the conversation. I think it's really important that people know that we're here and what we do.
Okay. Any other comments?
Well, this is Angela. I think that's a great action item for us to give to you, but also Commissioner Paravaglia, it could be something you could request of your board members to take this copy as kind of or take it to the E&O committee and just say, one of the
How can we get this out? Yeah, because this document's not going to do us any good if we don't get it out among
circulate.
Yeah, I agree. So I think if everyone can get it out, and then we can maybe have it on the agenda of E&O on the 23rd.
Sounds good.
That would be good. Any other comments on this? Hearing none, let's move on.
So I know it's in terms of seeing the screen, the next one is the legislative bill tracking, updates and discussion. And we've start hearing from already from Karina. I know there has been constant movement, and we also always want to identify that we have a Bagley King requirement to submit our agendas, and we recognize that many times legislative bills will change even after as close as we can, to get to the documents on close to the edge of submission of currency. But right now, we're very grateful that Karina is on the line, that she can provide not only what we have collected as information, but also any updates to these bills and additional bills that may come up since the printing of our agenda. So Karina, thank you. We look forward to what you have to say. I thought I heard Karina on the line. Karina, are you still there?
Sorry, I was talking and no one could hear me.
It
All
happens.
right. Yeah. So see, it's not just older men with technical difficulties,
Okay.
Commissioner. There you go. You're not alone.
That's good to know.
Okay. All right. So this year we've got AB 1604 by Assemblymember Holden. This is the Upward Mobility Act of 2022. It's essentially a reintroduction of AB 105 that was vetoed last year by the governor. As with last year's version, this year requires that by Jan 1, 2023, all state boards and commissions that consist of one or more volunteer members or commissioners must have one member or commissioner from an underrepresented community. This requirement applies as vacancies on boards and commissions naturally occur, and it applies to vacancy appointments by the governor, the chair of a board or commission, the speaker of the assembly, or the pro tem of the Senate, or Senate Rules Committee, or any combination thereof. The underrepresented community has been updated to include individuals who self-identify as Black or African American, Hispanic or Latino, Asian or Pacific Islander, Native American, Native Hawaiian, Native Alaskan, LGBT, veterans, and physically or mentally disabled persons as defined under Section 12926 of the Government Code. Furthermore, 1604 requires the State Personnel Board to investigate complaints filed by employees in a state's agency's EEO program, and personnel office complaints by other civil service employees, by applicants, or by members of the public alleging violations of civil service law, and report finding to the State Personnel Board. Throughout the year, DGS focuses on the underrepresented community member requirement more than the State Personnel Board requirement, simply because that's more direct impact on our boards and commissions. So that's 1604. We've got AB 1733 by Assemblymember Quirk, State Bodies, Open Meetings. This bill would modify Bagley-Keene to specify that a meeting under the Act includes a meeting held entirely by teleconference. It would require all open meetings to be held by teleconference. The state body has to provide the public with the means to remotely hear and observe the meeting, as well as a two-way audiovisual platform or telephonic service so that they can participate in the meeting. So for example, if the state body was holding the meeting entirely by teleconference, they would also have to webcast the meeting, so have a visual stream of the meeting as well. This bill would strike the requirement to notice the physical location of each commissioner if they're participating remotely. And it would not require commissioners' presence in a single physical location to establish a quorum. However, the bill would require that for each meeting, the state body must, it does have to provide a physical location accessible to the public in addition to the teleconference or the webcast. The meeting's agenda, as always, has to be posted 10 days in advance on the state body's website. It also has to be posted at the physical meeting locations as noticed in the agenda. That notice has to specify the means by which the public can remotely participate in the hearing. That's something CCDA and other DGS boards and commissions are already doing. While the notice cannot disclose the remote location from which a member is participating, any member attending remotely has to disclose whether another individual 18 years old or older is present in that room with them, which is interesting. If the state body discovers that the remote transmission has failed and can't be rectified in a timely manner, the body has to adjourn It has to notify participants of the adjournment, and then it has to notify the participants when the body intends to reconvene and how the public can rejoin that meeting. So that is AB 1733. It is trying in part to incorporate some of the elements of the Bagley-Keene executive order into it, but it is a work in progress. The biggest part of the executive order that is not part of this bill is the fact that it requires a physical location. So that's probably going to evolve as the year goes on. And the final bill we have so far is AB 1795 by Assemblymember Fong. This is also another Bagley-Keene bill, and it's similar only in the broadest of strokes to AB 1733. Assemblymember Fong's bill would amend Bagley-Keene to require state bodies to permit persons to attend both by in-person and by remote participation. Remote participation is defined as participation at a location other than the physical location designated in the agenda via electronic communication. So that's the trend for Bagley-Keene bills this year, is to make the option to participate remotely something enshrined in the bill. And we're probably going to have more bills going about it in different ways as we move on. The bill introduction deadline is, I believe, February 18th for bills introduced by an individual legislative member. So we're going to have more bills very likely popping up through the next week or so. And then there's an even later deadline for bills to be introduced via committee. So this is just the early days of the 2022 legislative season. So we'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks.
I have a question. Do either of the Bagley-Keene bills deal with the Brown Act?
No, they do not. They are exclusively Bagley-Keene.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
But, any questions from anyone regarding Ms. Roy's presentation? Hearing none, I think we've finished that. Thank you so much. It's really informative. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, Commissioner.
And our next agenda item is future agenda items we need to discuss. I will open that up to see if anybody has suggestions. Hearing none, I think we've captured that one. And with that covered, at 2:15, I will call the meeting adjourned. And I want to thank everyone else I would like to thank everyone for attending and expressing interest, and thank Mr. Mitchell for the suggestion regarding local bar associations, and we will see you next time. Thank you very much.
Thank you for a wonderful meeting. Have a wonderful day.
You do the same.